Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban Mawla, be the light on the tongue of this Nachiz Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mawla Meherban, we seek your help Mawla. Tawfiq, Ta'id, Himmat wa Yari Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, be the light in the ears of the listeners, Mawla. Be the light in our hearts, Mawla. That this knowledge which we learn goes deep inside us. Ya Mawla Meherban, it nourishes our intellect and our heart and our soul, Mawla. And then there is beautiful flowering of Tawili ilm in our being, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban, Mawla. Help us, Mawla. Help us. Ameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Once again, Ya Ali Madad to all friends.
Mola Ali Madad.
Mola Ali Madad.
Thank you.
Alright.
So we have gathered here to continue our discussion on Book of Healing, first part, and we were talking about divine love, Ishq-e Ilahi. And today we will start with point number 10. So who is our reader today?
Nachis?
Ji, Bismillah. Read all the points.
Okay, from 10 till?
Ji.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Book of Healing, Chapter Divine Love, Point 10, ebook, page 97. In Ihya al-Ulum 4295, the following prayer of the Holy Prophet is recorded, which is extremely wisdom-filled. O God, bestow upon me your love and the love of the one who loves you, and the love of that which makes me closer to your love, and make your love to me more palatable than cold water. This prayer comprises all basic and fundamental beauties of religion. Therefore, it requires detailed explanation. Point 11. We have already mentioned the Hadith-e Nawafil, Bukhari 8, pages 336 through 37, which is also called Hadith-e Takarrub, hadith related to the proximity of God. This hadith is also recorded in Majmu' al-Bahrain under the title of Fanafillah. The gist of it is that, as a result of the accomplishment of the obligatory duties and supererogatory services, the faithful servants attain the special proximity of their Lord, the sign of which is that God actually loves them in such a way that his sacred light shines in their heart, and their internal senses and external senses become illumined to the extreme degree. This is their effacement and merging. Point 12. What kind of pleasure and attraction is found in the pure love of God, the exalted, the sublime? And what kind of tenderness, gentleness, and humility is created in the heart under its influence? Or what are its wonders and marvels and its miracles? Although due to human beings' shortcomings, it is extremely difficult to experience them. Yet, the way His mercy works overwhelmingly and abundantly, it is not impossible. Moreover, it is also an extremely great favor of God that He, the knowing, the wise, has created His love not all at once, but in different stages, so that everyone may progress gradually. Point 13. Friendship of God has been praised and described in chapter 10, verse 62 of the Quran, whose expression is extremely miraculous. Behold, the friends, awliya, of God have neither fear nor do they grieve. Common people are afraid of the dangers of the future and grieve for what is past. However, for the friends of God there is neither future nor past, nor is there any fear and grief. Because in the non-spatial and non-temporal world, they have observed the reality that all things of this space, universe, and time remain safe and secure and everlasting in the fist of God. Chapter 21, verse 104, chapter 39, verse 67. Therefore, they are not afflicted by the disease of fear and grief. Point 14. Regarding the external physical martyrs and those of divine love, the wise Quran has passed the universal judgment that they, despite being slain in a way, we do not die in reality. Rather, they become immortal. It is as if they are given the water of immortality of love. Therefore, they are honored with eternal life. Thus, every wise person accepts this clear fact that there is no remedy for physical death, but spiritual death can be cured with the water of immortality of divine love. 26 Rajab 1406 AH, 7th April 1986 AD.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So that was the reading from the book. Now we will look at the slides and review these points. So when Jasmine read the point number 10, we have already reviewed that point. So we will start with actually 11 point. So this is our first slide, which shows the point 11, and it talks about Hadith-e Nawafil. Do you remember that last time when we had discussed that there are two types of prayers, obligatory and supererogatory, meaning one which is must and other which is additional, nawafil, which is not must, and we ourselves volunteer for it and take that responsibility upon us. An example of that is Isme Azam. So Hadith-e Nawafil is also called Hadith-e Takarrub. The word Takarrub means proximity to God. We just read that. Hadith-e Takarrub, Hadith-e Nawafil, they both mean the same thing. Very interestingly, this hadith is also named as Fanafillah. Now, how Fanafillah is the name of this hadith, meaning that this hadith is so important that it is labeled or named as Fanafillah. So we have to really understand this hadith. And we did talk about it last time, that we realize, being adults, being grown-ups in our Jamaat, walking on the path of knowledge, that compulsory is for all. What is obligatory is for all. But then there are those select few who come forward and say that they want to do more. And we hear that very beautifully in Betul Khayal Faramins of Hazrima, that Mola would say that, I am very happy to see such a big group who have voluntarily come forward, meaning that it is our own desire to sacrifice more, to offer this supererogatory prayers or do nawafil ibadah. What is the objective? What do we get from that? So this chapter teaches us, which is on divine love, that by offering nawafil ibadah, we attain the special proximity of God. If we were to think of proximity, someone being near, but that someone was very special, how near that person would be. Meaning, even the proximity can also be applied at different levels. There is a proximity and then there is a special proximity. So those who voluntarily, those with their free will who come forward, for them, there is a word which is used as special proximity of Allah. So that is what we are doing here, nawafil ibadat. And when they do that, they have this sacred light shining upon them. Sacred, special, exalted, ruhaniyat, all that word which are into the word sacred, right? It shines in their heart. Now, whatever is in the heart, it's not visible. So what is visible? What level of knowledge they have? What kind of ethics do they follow? All that is shining through their being. Why? Because when they attain the close proximity to God, the light shines from their being. Not only that, their external senses, like we are seeing and listening, all these senses which we use for our physical worldly life, it connects to our internal senses, batni senses. The wall between the external senses and internal senses dissolves. The wall goes away. Why and how did that happen? Because this Mu'min Salih, who became an Arif, walking on the path of offering nawafil ibadat on top of what is obligatory. So the result is, eventually, walking on this path, that wall is completely removed. Now the batni ears, batni eyes, all the senses of batin are opened and have become nurani. The way it says in the book, they are illumined to the extreme degree. Extreme degree. Meaning, again, remember when we are reading words like that, meaning there is a beginning degree too. There is a middle part, there is a further stage, and then there is an extreme degree. Step by step, these senses continue to open up for us to see the spiritual realms. And then the beautiful word which is being used in this point is effacement. The word effacement means, being disappear or become one or become merged. And the second word is merging. But effacement is different from merging, meaning that the person who becomes one with Imam does not exist anymore. Meaning, what are we saying? How come it will happen when we are doing nawafil ibadat? The more we focus on nawafil ibadat, we submit our own will to Imam's will. The more we submit, the further we are no more. This I continues to die. And all it is He. The way we hear this in Kalam-e-Maula, right? Main aur tu ki doi chhod sab ek dekh. How does that happen? That you and I become one. How does that happen? When I has to die. Until I or the ego is there, he cannot be there. So when we are understanding at the beginning level, we have learned that we have to kill our ego, the carnal soul. I has to die for him to be there. Meaning, step by step, progressing on the transformation of the soul, there will be effacement leading us to become merged, one with the Imam. Now, we are looking at 11 and 12 point together, and here I am sharing Hadith Nawafil, which is not in this chapter. So I've taken this from Practical Sufism and Spiritual Science, written by Allama Sahib. He says that this is Hadith Nawafil, meaning Prophet Muhammad saying, but then it says sacred Hadith. So I'm sure all of us, we know that there are two types of Ahadith. Ahadith is plural, Hadith is singular. There are one Hadith which are sayings of Prophet Muhammad, so they are called plain Hadith. But then you will see sacred Hadith. It is used for Hadith-e-Qudsi, meaning these are the words of Allah, but somehow they were not added into the Quran. So we call them sacred Hadith or Hadith-e-Qudsi. So Hadith-e-Nawafil was supposed to be in Quran, but it is not. But Alhamdulillah, we being Smileys, we are very blessed to have this knowledge in front of us. There's something which was not added in the Quran, but we are studying it, we are knowledgeable about it, so we are benefiting from the talim of it. But it is given in the books of Hadith as well, as Hadith-e-Qudsi. And in this, Allah says, which Prophet Muhammad told us, that my servant continues to seek my closeness through Nawafil until I love him. Nawafil, we all know, additional prayers. When I love him, I become his ear, with which he hears, and I become his eye, with which he sees, and I become his hand, with which he grasps, and I become his foot, by which he walks. So tell me, do we see the true application of this verse which we study in Kalam-e-Maula? मैं और तू की दो ही छोर सब एक देख, ऐसा समझ फना हो उसमें, जब तू नहीं तब वो सही है. Meaning, when you are not there, it is him. But how did one become to that stage that he is no more, but it is Imam? It began from this practice of Nawafil Ibadat, doing more than what is needed, what is must, what is compulsory. And nobody is telling you to do it. You are doing it for your own, with your own free will, to please Imam, not anybody else. You are doing it with your sincere, genuine desire to do more. Why? Because we want to come close to the Noor of Imam. So in this beautiful hadith, how does it start? My servant. The beginning says my servant, meaning as Mu'mineen, if we truly want to elevate ourselves and offer Nawafil Ibadat, we have to accept we are slaves, we are servant, we are no one. Professionally, businessmen, leaders, amaldaran, whatever it is, mukhi, whoever is the, at whatever rank, in the worldly sense or even in the religious voluntary work or duties, they are probably higher ups. But when it comes to offering our own self to Imam, the relationship is that I am a slave of Imam. I am the servant of Imam. He is my Khudawand. When that is the attitude, then there is closeness. When there is humility, then there is closeness. How? Through Nawafil Ibadat. When the Nawafil Ibadat is offered with genuine sincerity, with humility, not seeking any recognition or anybody's, pleasure, but Imam's. What happens? A time comes. It doesn't happen immediately. A time comes that he says that until I love him. Until tells us that there is a time period. How many of us will remain patient to see that he loves us? Now, he does love us. It's not that we are saying that he doesn't love us. But remember, we have discussed this, that even the word love, in English, we don't have this richness in the language. So love is love. But we had discussed that there are degrees, there are ranks, there are darajat in love as well. Right? So until, meaning the test on the moment is, does he or she remains patient or not? Do we start complaining? Do we give in? Do we quit? Or do we continue to stay consistent on the path until He loves us? So there is a time period involved to test us, that do we are saying or doing this just to, because others are doing, because we are comparing to others and we are doing, or to please our parents or our family members or somebody. That's why there is time until we get to that level that there is complete humility, and the attitude is of submission, of being servant of Imam. A time comes, then He loves us. When He loves us, then He becomes our ear. He becomes our eyes. He becomes our hands. He becomes our feet. Now, where is that person now? That person is no more. Because what he's seeing Imam. What Imam is seeing, that Mu'min is seeing. Meaning, there is no secret now between the Imam and the Mu'min. What Mawla hears, that Mu'min hears. Imam being the Imamul Nas and Imamul Muttaqin, meaning the Imam of the whole humanity and Imam of the righteous. What he does not hear from his ears. Everybody is praying and asking. Imagine that Mu'min whose ears become his ears, listens to everything and anything. Nothing is hidden from his knowledge. Everything he hears. Whatever he touches, it is the touch of Imam. Wherever he walks, it is the walk of Imam. Meaning, this person is no more. This person has become one with the Imam. This is the benefit, reward of doing Nawafil Ibadah. That moment becomes tender and gentle and full of humility. His heart is under the influence of the love of Imam. Then this Arif sees wonders and marvels in his being. All the miracles are known to him. However, what does the Allama Sahib says in the book? As humans, we have very many shortcomings. What we are reading and understanding, we all desire, but it is difficult to experience. However, remember, everything is possible with Imam. When we are saying this contradictory thing somehow, why do we do that? On one point, we are saying it is extremely difficult. And on the other point, we are saying everything is possible. So, someone may say, oh, make up your mind. What are you saying? Both the things, because we are learning this very important aspect of us as humans. We have very many weaknesses and we have very many shortcomings. It requires a lot of hard work. It is not easy to experience what we are talking about. But with Imam, walking on the path of Farman Bardari, it is possible because he is Rahman and Rahim. He is merciful. His mercy is unlimited. However, there are conditions and criteria which we have to meet. And in this context, Nawafil Ibadat. So why Nawafil Ibadat? Why are we doing that? Remember, we are studying the chapter on Ishq-e Ilahi. We are seekers of divine love. If we are seekers of divine love, it is all into Nawafil Ibadat. It is not into compulsory. What is must is for all. But then there are those select few who come forward to do more. It happens step by step. Remember, it's a gradual process. It's a gradual progress, but it is possible. The key is until that time period we are going on, the tests are there, and we don't see the results of our work, the expectation is, do we remain patient or do we complain or do we quit? All this is very clear from this Hadith-e Nawafil, Hadith-e Taqarrub. Now, this is a very important point, which is in Hadith-e Nawafil. Now I'm showing you the beginning of the Hadith-e Nawafil. if you look at here, we discussed this, right? We discussed this part. So first we had to understand what is Hadith and Nawafil, we understood. But now I'm sharing the whole Hadith and Nawafil. In the beginning, I just shared half with you. Why? You'll understand why did I do that. So let's see this. Holy Prophet says, Allah said, he who shows enmity to wali of mine, I declare war against him. Who is wali? He is the friend, right? And then it says, my servant draws not near to me through anything more loved by me than what I have enjoined upon him. Meaning, in other words, that Mu'min cannot come close to Imam until unless they are doing Nawafil Ibadat. So if anybody thinks that, oh, I go to Jamaat Khana and 3 times dua, I pay the son, I attend Chandrat Majlis, as a smiley, this is compulsory. Agreed, this is compulsory. But then if your desire is to have love of Imam in your heart or come close to him, this is the guidance, this is the hadith given to us by our Prophet. But we have understood this part. We want to focus on this part now because there is a very important lesson in the beginning of the glad tidings which are given to us. So we understood the glad tidings as well as the word until, that there is test, there is time involved, there is gradual progress. But even before that, this is the most important part. What is that? He who shows enmity to wali of mine, I declare war against him. The question is, who is the wali? How do we know that? So let's look at another slide. Now, this is another hadith of Prophet Muhammad, and it is Prophet Muhammad gave this hadith during the time of Dawat-e-Ashira. Dawat-e-Ashira, when Prophet Muhammad became prophet, and Allah told him that you need to announce your prophethood. So first what he did, he called his close family members, all the family members, extended and close, everybody were gathered and there were 40 members. And Prophet says, asks that, oh children of Abdul Muttalib, because they were all tribe of Quraysh, they were all from this family of Abdul Muttalib, right? Son of Abdul Muttalib is Abu Talib, father of Maula Ali, right? So they all are gathered, 40 people were there. And Prophet Muhammad says, O children of Abdul Muttalib, follow me and you will be the kings and the rulers of the earth. God has surely never sent a prophet without appointing his vicegerent, wasi, minister, wazir, heir, waris, brother, akh, and legatee, wali. Who among you then will be my vicegerent, my heir, brother, and minister? This is the hadith which was given to us during the hadith Dawat-e-Ashira. This hadith was made at Dawat-e-Ashira. Prophet Muhammad had gathered his family and he had asked that who is going to come forward and be with me, because I have been chosen as a prophet, and prophet is never without a vicegerent. So who from among you, or the family of Abdul Muttalib, will come forward? We all know that Maula Ali was the one who came forward. He is the one who is the vicegerent of the prophet, wasi, who is the minister, meaning wazir. He is the heir, meaning the waris of the prophet. He is the brother of the prophet, and the wali, legatee. Now, wali also means friend. Legatee is asas, but wali also means his friend. Meaning, when we are looking at this same slide again, I have to go back. This one. Okay, so this is, all right. This is the same slide. Hadith and Nawafil. What did Holy Prophet said? He who shows enmity to wali. This wali who is friend of Allah. Because this hadith is actually Allah said. Do you see that? Sacred hadith. Prophet Muhammad is telling us, but Allah had said, He who shows enmity to wali of mine, I declare war against him. When Allah declares war, nobody can stop it. But why would Allah declare war? Does Allah not want peace? He is Rahman and Rahim. He is the merciful Khuda. Why does he declare war? People ask, why there is war? There is war when those who show enmity to the wali of Allah, friend of Allah, meaning Imam. Yesterday it was Maula Ali, today it is Shakan. Those who do not befriend Imam and show enmity, दुश्मनी करते हैं Imam से, what will happen? Allah will declare a war. Now question is that why are we discussing this? Because it is part of Hadith Nawafil, the word wali. We are trying to understand the word wali. So just to briefly share with you part of history. Dawat-e-Ashira, when 40 people were gathered, and it is being said that Prophet had kept one bowl and one leg of lamb. And this 40, strong men all ate full belly. So Prophet's uncle, who was cousin to the Prophet's father, his name was Amr ibn Hashim, but he is known in the history as Abu Jahl. So he was uncle, and he comes out and he says, did you see did you see Muhammad's magic? He just kept one bowl and one leg, and we all ate full belly. How did that happen? He's a magician. And then he starts making fun of Maulana Abu Talib, father of Maula Ali, and caretaker of Prophet Muhammad. Remember history that Prophet Muhammad, father died when mom was pregnant. And when he is delivered, mother also dies. So his caretaker was Maulana Abdul Muttalib, father of Maulana Abu Talib. Prophet Muhammad's grandfather was Maulana Abdul Muttalib. So this is the family of Abdul Muttalib. This uncle Abu Jahl starts making fun of Maulana Abu Talib. And he says, now your nephew has become more exalted than you. What does that mean? He was making fun of Maulana Abu Talib, who was the Imam at that time, because Maulana Ali was just a child, young child. It was Maulana Abu Talib who gave Isme Azam to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad completed his Isme Azam, and he was chosen as the Prophet of Allah from the family of the Imam. So this uncle, the family of Prophet Muhammad, making fun of him, saying to Maulana Abu Talib, or his name is Imran, Maulana Imran, that your nephew has become more exalted than you. Meaning, he knew that Maulana Abu Talib was exalted. But a new rank came in, rank of Natik. And with the rank of Natik, when the Prophet says, who among you will be my wasi, my legatee, my wazir, my waris? It was only Maula Ali who stood up and said, I will be with you. And Maula Ali at that time was physically chosen as the legatee because he himself came forward. The choice was given to the whole family, but nobody came forward. Maula Ali came forward, meaning another rank was there, Asas, legatee of the Prophet Muhammad, when Maula Ali was only 10 years old. What did this uncle do? Did not accept the rank of Maulana Abu Talib, rank of Natik, and then upcoming rank, Maulana Ali. He was a young child, but he had taken the rank. He had volunteered. Now, we do know that they were chosen personalities, but we need to realize here that the question was asked from all. Who chose to came forward? That is dependent on the free will. Everybody had the chance, but Maula Ali came forward. Meaning what we are learning several lessons by this story. Number one, definitely we are talking about Nawafil Ibadat. On top of that, we are also seeing that in order for us to be able to love, have this divine ishq in our heart, first we need to love his friend, his wali, which is Imam. Those who do not love Imam, Khuda Ta'ala says that I will declare war. So if anybody thinks that, oh, we are doing Nawafil Ibadat, but they are not understanding, they have no recognition of the Imam, of the ranks, then they are not understanding what is going on. They are not understanding the ranks of Imam, the recognition of Imam. If there is that understanding is not there and the Nawafil Ibadat is done, we are not meeting the first criteria. Because in recognition of Imam, in realizing how he is wali, what is the rank, then only our Nawafil Ibadat will be accepted. So there is so much more in this Hadith and Nawafil and its understanding through the word wali, loving Imam. And we discussed how in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, Imam is Maulana Abu Talib. He is there. He had given Isma Azam to Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad completed the Isma Azam, became the Prophet. He's announcing his prophethood and asking, who's going to be my buddy? Who's going to be my wazir, my wali? Maula Ali came forward. And what Abu Jahl did, he made fun of all these ranks. And he did not accept. And we do know what happened to Abu Jahl, right? So we continue to move forward. So in this, what we have discussed, what we've understood, both the points, point 11 as well as point 12. Meaning, if we want divine love in our heart, if we want that tenderness, this gentleness, that humility, which comes through his light, changes and transforms our being, it is in recognition, in love of Imam, and then offering Nawafil Ibadat will help us realize, have the recognition of Imam, and then we will be transforming ourselves to gain, to attain close, special proximity to Imam. The point 13 talks about, again, 10 by 62. Very interestingly, this verse, it is 10 by 62, and it talks about friendship of God. It has been praised and described in this verse, and this verse is 10 by 62. Allah inna awliyallahi la khawfun alayhim walahum yahzanun. What is the translation given by Shahi International? It says, unquestionably, the allies of Allah, there will be no fear concerning them, nor they will grieve. Pictol says, lo, verily the friends of Allah are on whom fear not, nor do they grieve. Whenever we read the translation in Quran, we don't read the brackets because it is their own understanding. It is not in the Arabic Quran, so we don't read the brackets. However, the third translation is by Allama Sahib in the Book of Healing. So we are going to read the brackets because he's teaching us the Ta'wil. What he says, behold the friends, awliya of God have neither fear nor do they grieve. Now, where does this word awliya comes? If we only read translation, we will never realize where did this awliya came in. So we have to have this habit to read transliteration. It's okay if we don't know Arabic. We are very blessed in today's time. Online, we can find very many transliteration. We can get Yusuf Ali's Quran. It is with transliteration, which will make it easy if we like the books in our hand and be able to make notes. So this verse mentions awliya. So in translation, it says allies, friends. But how would we understand awliya and relate it to the Hadith and Nawafil? If we don't know this transliteration, the word in Arabic, awliya, friend of Allah, and realize that this awliya word, wali, is from wali, and wali is friend, and wali is actually used for imam. So do you realize how when we study in depth and, we are discussing divine love, But even in divine love, what we are learning, exaltedness of our Imam. It is in the love of Imam that we will find our own salvation, our own freedom, our own elevation of the rank. In this beautiful hadith, or beautiful verse, 10 by 62, what it says, those who are friends of Allah. Now, one may ask, are you saying friend of Allah as Maula Ali or as us? So remember, every Quranic verse we can also apply on us too. When we are learning, we have to keep it close. We have to apply to us. And it does say that no doubt, unquestionably, the allies or friends of Allah, they have no fear. They do not grieve. No fear, no grieving for them. Meaning those who do the nawafil ibadah, to seek the closeness to Imam, a special proximity. When they do what is needed to be done, what do we see here? They also become friends of Allah. Now, when we say Allah, we have to understand, we know these two terms, Nur-e-Mujarrad, abstract light, and Nur-e-Mujassam, embodied light. Allah is the Nur, and that Nur we call abstract light. We cannot reach it. But that Nur has manifested on our planet, and that is Imam. And we call him embodied light, or Nur-e-Mujassam. So when we become Farman Bardar to Imam, we become one with this Nur-e-Mujassam. What is happening? We are becoming also friends of Allah, step by step. Remember, it is always a gradual process. Now, when we become friends, then we are blessed with no fear, no grieving. Now tell me, in physical world today, who is without fear? Who is without grievances? Everywhere you see there are problems, there are issues, there are difficulties, there are deaths, and there are illnesses. So many fears are there. But those who are mu'mineen, true mu'mineens becoming arifin, walking on this path, for them the glad tidings is that if you do want this path of divine love, doing nawafil ibadat, for you, there is no fear. There is no grief for you. So what is the opposite of fear and grief? Happiness, joy. Does that mean the sickness or the disease or the death, did it go away? No, not at all. But there is no pain. Because for mu'mineen, there is no cough, there is no fear, there is no grief. Why? Because this mu'min has now become one with Imam, or on the steps of becoming one with Imam. He has started the journey as servant. Remember that. Started the journey as servant. Now we are talking about him or her as a friend now, meaning there is elevation. So when there is a friendship, there is no fear, there is no grief. Now these mu'minins are seeing all the sublime realities within their being. Remember another concept which we talk about, that here our soul is, it is called lower eye, ruhe sifli, and the higher eye, which is in alam-e-bala, right? Or higher eye. Now they are able to see the secrets and the miracles which are only possible to be seen being at higher eye. Meaning, they're able to see beyond space and time. They are above and beyond space and time. In the physical world, our physical body is constrained, limited in the time and the place. But when we talk of elevating soul, they're able to get their soul out, come out of their being, and enjoy the timelessness and spacelessness. Meaning, see these sublime realities, witness the miracles of Imam. They observe the reality of all the things as they are in the original form. When we talk of original form and all these realities and miracles being seen, question is, where is it being seen? Very beautifully, the next verse which we saw in this chapter was, in point 13, was 21 by 104. So let's read the translation to help us understand. So Shahi International says, the day when we will fold the heaven like the folding of a sheet for the records. Heaven being folded, we thought heaven is somewhere above, but heaven is like a sheet folded. As we began the first creation, we will repeat it. A promise binding upon us. Indeed, we will do it. Mark here, us and we, plural. The day when we shall roll up the heavens as a recorder rolls up a written scroll. As we began the first creation, we shall repeat it. A promise upon us, lo, we are to perform it. This verse has very many tawilat, but we have to keep it simple and connect it to what we are discussing. But one can see and reflect that this verse is saying so many things. Number one, we are realizing we thought heaven is a place. But here, heaven is mentioned as a paper. I take this paper and fold in my hand. Because when you talk of sheet and rolling it, where would you roll? On your hand. Somewhere you're going to roll it. It is so tiny you can roll it on a wood or on your hand. Right? It's like folding a paper. So heaven is being folded. Very interestingly. And it says that we will do. It is upon us and we will do that. Now question is, where is this happening? What is this place where heaven is being folded as if it is a piece of paper? I hope that you all attended the lecture on Saturday about world of particles and what is soul. We discussed in great detail Alam-e-Zar, the world of particles. This world of particles, which is in Imam, heaven also is in the world of particles, because everything and its essence is within Imam, in the personal world of Imam. So where is it being folded? In the personal world of Imam. So we understand the concept of particles. We have understood that. So everything is being folded in Imam. Question is, how does it apply to us today when we are discussing divine love, Ishq Ilahi? What we are realizing, what we are seeing here, that it is all about recognition of Imam. With recognition, Farman Bardari of Imam. First, as a servant. Continue to walk on the path, become his friend. When we become his friend, then we will be able to see. In order to become his friend, we have to understand his Faramin, follow Faramin with absolute conviction. Recognition of Imam, having love of Imam in our heart, desire to sacrifice and do Nawafil Ibadat. Also, loyalty to Imam. Being loyal is very important. And that's why when we studied this Dawat-e-Ashira, this hadith, Maula Ali was loyal to the rank of Prophet, loyal to the rank of Imam of that time, Maulana Abu Talib, his father. He became the friend of Prophet Muhammad. And if today we are seeking that friendship, we see two examples we discussed. Abu Jahl, uncle in the family, and Maula Ali. We love our Imam, we want to follow Imam. If we want to become friends with Imam and be one with him, what are the conditions? Farman Bardari. Beginning, servant. Slowly walking on the path of Farman Bardari with conviction will take us to have love in our heart, and we will realize what does it mean to be loyal to Imam. Not to anyone else, loyal to Imam. Respect the ranks which were happening at Dawat-e-Ashira. When we have the recognition of Imam, when we love the Imam, when we are Farman Bardar to Imam, our world of particles, remember we have souls and millions and trillions of souls within our being. They will become spiritual particles, awakened particle, falling in love with Imam. And then what will happen? The personal world in a moment as Salik will become a living personal world. When it is living personal world, what is happening? That lower I has become one with the higher I, meaning this Ruh is now in Alam-e-Ulwi, the higher world, the spiritual realms. Whatever words we use, the meaning, the essence remains the same. Meaning, the moment remains within his being, but his soul elevates, becomes one, goes to Miraj, Alam-e-Sifli, removes himself from the level of Alam-e-Sifli to reach to Alam-e-Ulwi. Mu'min Salik becomes Arif. He has the Marifat. How? Through Ibadat-e-Ilmiya and Ibadat-e-Amliya, which takes care of all what we need to do, beginning from Ism-e-Azam. Very, very important first step which we take is taking off Ism-e-Azam. Then this point 13 talks about another beautiful verse, 39/67, Surah Zumar, verse 67. And if you were to look at the transliteration, it starts like Wama Qadrullaha Haqqa Qadrihi. It starts with Wama, wa meaning and, or. But very interestingly, when we look at the Shahi International Translation, there is no and there. Meaning, if we know in a little bit of Arabic, we can tell this translation does not begin correctly. Whereas when we are looking at pictorial, we can see it starts with and. We see Yusuf Ali, it starts with and. So we have to look at different translation. We can just not rely on one translation. We can not only just read translation, we have to have this habit of looking at the words in transliteration. So looking at the word transliteration or Arabic, we find Wama, the verse starts with Wama. And they have not appraised Allah with true appraisal. Meaning, they did not esteem Allah, they did not value or honor Allah the way they had to honor. So how can they not honor Allah? Allah is above all else. Nobody can reach. So how did they not respect Allah or value Allah? It is not about that Allah, that Nur, which is abstract Nur. It is about the Nur which has manifested in our planet. Nur-e-Mujassam, Imam. And this verse very clearly says that, and we are studying the Divine Love chapter, so continue to keep connecting what we are talking about. Despite of all the ta'aleem which Imam gives us, all the ta'aleem which is given to us, Quran complains, وَمَا قَدْرُ haqqa qadrihi. And they did not esteem Allah the way he was ought to be respected. He had the right to be respected. Who are we talking about? Imam. Loyalty to Imam, recognition of Imam, farman bardari to Imam, with conviction and understanding. Very crucial, very crucial. So what does it say, this verse? And they esteemed not Allah as he had the right to be esteemed when the whole earth is his handful on the day of resurrection. Here, now we read another thing. Remember, in the last verse, we were talking about heaven being rolled. Where is it being rolled? Whole earth is his handful on the day of resurrection. In his fist. The whole earth, it is in his fist. And the heavens are rolled in his right hand. Rolling again. Glorified is he, and high exalted from that they ascribe as partner. So first we have to understand that the complaint, that Allah complains in Quran that people did not respect. If we were to apply this verse at that time, who was that Nur? Prophet Muhammad was that Nur which was manifested, because it was the time of prophethood. At Gadir Khum, Imamat was announced and Zahurat happened. After that, we see the time of Imamat. So this verse applied yesterday when Prophet was there. It applies today. That we have not respected or honored or esteemed or qadar hi nahi ki Imam ki. We've taken Imam for granted. And we are talking about this love, but we have taken Imam for granted. We don't realize when this verse says that the whole earth, we all now know that the allegory of the earth is mustajib. Mustajib, who continues to walk on the path. A time comes that mustajib, on the day of resurrection, on the day of Qiyamah, is in the hands of Imam, in his fist. And the heavens are rolled on the hands. Meaning, we're talking about the world of particles. We are talking about the personal world of Imam. If it is in the hand, meaning if we have not valued Imam, it is separate. It is in the hand. There are very many tawila, but I'm going to keep this simple so we all understand. Those personal world who will become awake and become one with Imam, they're one with Imam. In the time of Qiyamah, on the day of resurrection, everything will be brought forward. And those will be seeing that how some are with Imam. And those who ascribe or those who associated with Imam, somebody else, partners to Imam. One may ask, what does that mean, partners to Imam? Who do we mean to associate with Imam? Very simply, our carnal soul, our family, our worldly desires. During the time of prophethood, there were idol worshippers. Are we today idol worshippers? We do not have Buddha in front of us, and not idols as per se, but can that idol be our own self, our own love for the world? Yes, very surely that is it. That if we are in the love of the world more than the Imam, then we are worshipping this idol of our own carnal soul. So you can understand it from different angles and different aspects. So what we are learning in this verse, that though we are talking about divine love and we are learning who are the wali and awliya, and this glad tiding is open for all those who are mu'minins of Imam, those who are with Isme Azam of Imam, farmans of Imam. But when we don't understand and we are not farman bardar, there is no way we can have love in our heart. Meaning, we will be in those who are called Wama Qadrullaha Haqqa Qadri. They did not steamed as they ought to steamed Imam. Qadri nahi ki Imam ki. So we all understand that part, right? Now, point 14, another very important point, and this is the last point. And it is about martyrs, shahidon ke upar baat ki gayi. So this is the chapter 3, verse 179. Surah 3, ayat 169. Shahid International translates this as, and never think of those who have been killed in the cause of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving provision. Victor says, think not of those who are slain in the way of Allah as dead. Nay, they are living. With their Lord, they have provision. Why are we talking about those who died on the path of jihad or they were killed in the divine love? We are not talking about physical jihad. We are talking about spiritual jihad. And those who will die in this jihad, do not call them dead. They are ever living because they have received this ever living, everlasting life. You know, there is a word as Abe Hayat, fountain of youth, that you drink that water, you will never become old, you will never die. Those who do the spiritual jihad, in reality, they are never dead. This is the hukum in the Quran. Never call them dead. They are always living. They are with us. Such a beautiful verse. So what are we learning in Divine Love chapter? That if we understand this and if we take upon ourselves spiritual jihad, if we fight with our carnal soul, which is the major jihad, then we will become martyrs. One day, we will get this shahadat. We will kill ourselves while living. And we will receive that blood money which we talked about last time, meaning we will be rewarded, we will become one with him. That is the glad tidings. The key is that in this chapter we are learning that due to this verse in Quran, Khuda Ta'ala has passed a universal judgment. What is that universal judgment? That those who die in the path of Khuda, meaning either physical jihad, which is no more after the Prophet Muhammad's time, because either Natik or Imam orders the jihad. And after Prophet Muhammad, Imam has not ordered any physical jihad or physical war as per se. So, what does it mean in today's time, after 1400 years ago? This verse was revealed 1400 years ago. So, how does it apply to today? It applies to spiritual jihad. That today we all are ought to be doing spiritual jihad, meaning fighting with our carnal soul. Why do we want to do that? Because we also want to become ever living. Ever living is one of the name of Allah from 99 names, Al-Hayy. He is ever living. If we want to become ever living just like him, the way he is, and he wants us to become, then we have to realize that we need to do this jihad, the spiritual jihad. And we understand all the conditions of these jihad. So the wise person accepts this very clearly. It is a fact that if we physically die, we'll be dead. But we spiritually die, it is immortality of divine love. We are never dead. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So I'll stop here. Ji.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. You know, when we think of as divine love, we don't think of such delicacies which involves in obeying the farmans of the Imam, and how you know, the farman, Mullah has clearly said that, you know, our faith is based on conviction, not convenience. It tells us that how critically we need to follow each step, what we do, what we say, how we live, all of those things applied, and you know, and he will bestow that love, divine love, which we seek, because it is his mercy. It is something which he will actually give it to us. And beautifully, I think when you explained about Nawafil, it does say that, you know, Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, which really resonated, that it is not just the progeny of Ali Muhammad can reach. Pir Sadruddin, Pir Shams, and, you know, Pir Pagambar, you can reach that destination, but, you know, and he says that I don't see that courage in you. And, you know, we pray that Mawla give us all that courage. And he beautifully also said that, you know, the subject should disappear or, you know, dissolve in the object. So we all understand all of these beautiful things combining and telling us that we need to learn and apply. And we apply, we should be able to see these beautiful results and achieve that divine love, inshallah, in our lifetime. I mean, friends, if you have any questions, any comments, any reflections, you can unmute, you can raise your hand or come forward.
Thank you, Moise.
So, I just was thinking about the you know, the way you said, Allah ki qadar nahi ki, you know, all of these things at times, you know, we don't see that. How do we continue to reflect on this more in our daily lives? How do we reflect on that?
So there are darjat actually in understanding of this verse. This verse is actually very powerful verse. Simply, if we were to take day-to-day example, we forget our soul, that it is due to our soul that we are alive and we are doing what we are doing. And we take all the worries of the world and burdens and think that we are doing it and we are involve into this and we have to do this, where this I came from. I is all actually about due to the soul, but we forget the soul. So that is very important to remember the soul, and that also relates to yadgiri, staying in remembrance. When we are in remembrance, then only we'll remember our soul. When we'll remember the soul, then we will be able to, seek knowledge, attend classes, reflect and realize and understand Imam's Farman. Because I don't think we understand Imam's Farman, because we do not have that much knowledge to understand Imam's Farami. Without knowledge, the locks which we have on our intellect, how will they open up? So personal search helps us to understand and open up the locks and be able to realize that how ungrateful we are. Maafi ke saath, it is truly that we are ungrateful. Whenever we say, oh, I cannot do this or this will not happen for me, immediately we are entering into ungratefulness because we are undermining the power of the soul which is within us. The soul is very powerful. The soul is very powerful. It is us who are putting that soul into chains and locks. We are not letting the soul do what it needs to do. First, by starving it, by not giving knowledge, zikro ibadat, nawafil ibadat. When we nourish our intellect and our soul, we feed it, then we have this angelic help within our being to guide us to the right path, to give us this aha moments when we are reading Faramins and listening to lectures or reading books. It gives us those aha moments to realize, I never thought about that. I never realized it. Does that mean this too? And then when you read and reread and reread, then you say, yes, it does mean that as well. But I had never understood that. So your Farman Bardari becomes better. It becomes higher. And by doing that step by step, there's long, tall ladder. You continuously grow according to time. Remember, our tariqa is dynamic tariqa. What was right yesterday, today, there is more to it. More we have to understand. Tawil is according to the time. That's what Imam does. So that is why we have living guide. We are the only blessed in the whole world who has Imam with us, living guide, giving us Faramins. So, Qadar nahi ki Imam ki, it is a big, big topic. I sometimes find it worrisome that how are we going to really understand the highest, most level of kaise Imam ki qadar nahi ki, because we are stuck at the basic levels. Until we don't grow from the basic levels, how are we going to go further? For example, the way Quranic verse said that there is no grief or fear for mu'minin, those who are friends of Allah. What does it require us to do? Become the friends of Allah. But we don't choose that. So what do we have in our life? Constant worries, constant grief, constant fear. This is going to happen or that is going to happen or this is all the time worry. Worry does not take us anywhere. To be worrying is actually part of being ungrateful. Ungrateful, why? Because we are not trusting the Imam, that he is in total control. He is Qadir Mutallaq. What do we need to do? Have the trust, follow the Faramins. If we do that, then we will realize and understand that this whole world is illusion. It is temporary. This is not the permanent. We are here to earn for hereafter. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Indeed, the friends are even also saying the same thing, that such a powerful session and very inspirational. And Sultan Mamisha also actually has said that moment is Mastana Shije Wuche. Yeah, so we all resonate with these things. I think we need these reminders, these wake-up calls at moments, so we continue to stay consistent, because I think staying conscious and staying consistent is our at times it's our weakness. And I think these sessions and these ayats and references actually helps us continue to think about it throughout the day and reflect on it as much as possible, so we understand and inshallah apply to our daily lives. Friends, if there's any other reflection, if one more comment we can take. I know it is a little later in the class, but if anyone wants to come forward with a comment or a question, we'll take that.
One comment.
Yes, Ji Gulzar Sahibah.
Malay Madad.
मैम क्वेश्चन या कमेंट आप करेक्ट करना, लाइक ये जो आया आप बोले ना कि हदीस सॉरी कि एनमिटी वाली कि अल्लाह डिक्लेयर्स वार अगेंस्ट हिम, तो ऐसा एक थॉट आ रहा कि जिसे हम लोग है ना पूरी फरमा बरदारी भी नहीं करते हैं क्योंकि हम फरमान को समझते नहीं है जितना समझना चाहिए, लेकिन हम अली पापा को प्यार भी करते हैं। तो ये हम मतलब हम इधर भी पूरे नहीं है, हम एनमिटी भी नहीं करते। तो यहाँ पे हमको अपने आप को कैसा और बेटर मतलब करना चाहिए ना, क्योंकि जैसा आप समझाए कि कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है ये चीज।
So first, Mubarakbad. How? That you are saying that you are on the path, right? Alhamdulillah, we are lovers of Imam. So we are on the path. We are lovers of Imam. What we need to learn, and if I say to you, you'll be surprised. Actually, lesson which Imam teaches us in Baitul Khiyal, humility. Humility. Because humility is so important, and when we are humble, meaning we don't want to take the credit for us, meaning we are in remembrance of our soul. It is our soul who is helping us to do things, right? When we are reminding ourselves that it is not me or my hard work or my doing this or my waking up or going to Jamaat Khan or me reading the book, me doing the, all my, me, who is this me and my? Remove that. Bring humility. That is a very important lesson. When we have that humility and we submit to our Imam, first beginning, servant ki tarah se, ji khuda. And eventually, with Nawafil Ibadat, by understanding this knowledge and helping ourselves to transform, constant transformation, Ibadat of Isme Azam, never missing it, becoming very good at it. During the daytime, zikr, remembrance, knowledge, all when it is done, then we are able to eventually become his friends. A Momin is everybody, but then there is Momin Salik, a Momin who's walking, traveling on the path, right? And then that Momin Salik becomes Arif, meaning has the Marifat, at Ilmul Yaqeen level. At least it is there, at Ilmul Yaqeen level. Then only slowly, gradually, by meeting more and more, Nawafil Ibadat. Without Nawafil Ibadat, nobody can come close. So remember, when we are becoming Arif, like learning knowledge, what are we desiring? I want to do more and more. When we are understanding that concept, doing Nawafil Ibadat, then we are becoming close to Imam. One day will come, we'll become friends of Imam. Special close proximity to Imam. We will get there because we believe in Imam. We trust in Imam. We will do the hard work. Victory or defeat is in the hands of Imam. That's how we say it. So Alhamdulillah, we are very blessed that we are on the path. And I agree with Moise. Yes, sabr and shukr, very important points. Very important.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Thank you, Niamat Sahib, for a beautiful session, very enlightening for all of us. May Allah bless you, and thank you, friends, for joining. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yani Madad. Thank
Ya
you.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Ya Ali Madad.
thank
Ya Ali Madad.
you. Thank you.
Shukran. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad Saida. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.